Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Wisemen Say podcast, powered by Yamo Media. Ty Fisher, alongside Jerald Lucas, my friend. I'm still living in a dream from this past weekend.
Am I still in Cincinnati right now?
No, we are back home in Columbus finally.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Columbus Crew taking down FC Cincinnati in the third edition of Hell is Real in the Eastern Conference Final, an epic 3-2 comeback win. And I still have no words for how that all played out.
I mean, it was a blockbuster.
Yeah.
You could swear that it was a Hollywood blockbuster, that you had all the drama you had, throughout the whole week, the banter between the fans leading up to it. You had Miazga Gate, is he playing, is he not?
Mm-hmm.
Injuries, who's healthy, who's not. Game starts, the Bailey going, was rocking. Can't take that away from them.
Yeah, it definitely. Cincinnati always puts on a show, no matter what. I give them credit. Hats off to Cincinnati. They always put on a show, whether it's against Columbus, whether it's against Nashville, St. Louis, whoever. They always put on a show.
Which was right, and smoke was settling, right? Game goes.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams got on the front foot quick.
Yeah. However, it was Cincinnati that got on the front foot first early on in the game. A wild turnover by Mo Farsi to I can't remember. I don't even remember who it was, but
Bupenza.
Yep, to Bupenza, and then it was Brandon Vasquez to open the scoring 1-0 for FC Cincinnati.
So you know how I said that I thought he was offside?
Yeah.
After watching the game 4 times now, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But it just was one of those where it looked like he was offside at first. But that was a lucky bounce. The ball came in from Bupenza. He was able to, knock it down with the shins, which if it was just a little higher, you don't know which way it goes.
Yeah.
But credit Schulte, he stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you saw how mad he was.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's Brandon Vasquez for you, though, right?
Future European star himself.
Yeah.
Fast forward to end of the first half almost, and he gets tripped up by Steven Moreira, but not really tripped up by Steven Moreira as he tripped over his own foot.
So after watching it, and you hear Taylor Twellman talk about his left foot caught, as he said, Steven Moreira's thigh.
No.
That's what I said too, but it's Taylor, right? He says absurd things all the time. But then, if anything, it looked like that right foot came down on top of like
his left calf.
I didn't see that it come down on the calf. I saw Vasquez's right foot look like it came down on Moreira's foot.
No.
So it was the calf?
It was definitely the calf. It was definitely hit Brandon's right foot coming down on his left calf. That's what caused him to trip. So, but in that ensuing free kick set piece, it's a well drawn up play.
I mean, and like Taylor said though, you put the shortest players in MLS.
Mo Farsi, Alex Matan. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. No, it was Matan and Rossi,
and there was one more short person.
Farsi's not even short though.
But you put the shortest ones in MLS right there to do that. And like Taylor said, as soon as that ball was touched, somebody should have been rushing.
Yeah.
And Matan was just a tad bit late getting there.
A half step late. Yep.
And it could have been a block.
Can we just credit Luciano Acosta? That was a nasty, nasty curler.
It was.
You have to give him credit. That's why he's the league MVP.
I mean, I give him credit for that.
Yeah. Crew go down halftime 2-0.
We've seen this story.
We've seen this before. We've seen this before multiple times. Even when we were in Cincinnati, beginning of the year, when Cincinnati beat us 3-2, we went into the halftime down 2-0. 2-1. We went down 2-1. But nonetheless, we were still down at halftime. Second half starts, and Bupenza gets 2 goals called back. One for offside, one for handball. How unfortunate is Cincinnati when those 2 plays happen? Very.
Because that killed the game.
Yeah.
Had those 2 goals stood, or one of them, we might be talking about, it was a great season for Columbus.
Mm-hmm. I counted us out at halftime. I'll tell you that right now. I was like, yeah, this season's over.
I did the same. That's why I had to get up and walk around.
Yeah.
And I found some brownie bites. No food and catering, but brownies.
Cincinnati doesn't care about their press.
No, they don't. But, ran into Taylor, ran into Chris, which he's a national icon.
Chris Doran?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
If he doesn't get hired by Apple, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
But no, halftime, it just was like my heart dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And I had those stomach pains.
Yeah, same.
And it just was like all the stuff we were talking, all the positivity, no traffic on 71, small construction amount this time. It was a perfect day outside.
Frank Underwood on YouTube says, we can't make those mistakes versus Bouanga or Vela. And he's absolutely right, because especially Denny Bouanga, he will punish us.
Which is facts.
Yeah. He will punish us like crazy.
Yeah. I think the mistakes that we made, right?
Yeah.
Other than Mo's, turnover, he just sort of shortcut that pass to Herrera.
Yeah, he did.
He shortcutted thinking like it could have been a slow roll and, whatever. But Bupenza, credit him, he saw it and he took it.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, the mistakes that was being made was the not following through with the passes.
Yeah, there were a couple of those.
It was on good chances, right? That it wasn't enough. You didn't put enough on it, or you angled it wrong for the pass, or you just didn't get the, whatever the case may be. Or you overpassed it or passed it behind.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the small mistakes.
Yeah.
I can honestly say this game, there were no big mistakes.
No, there wasn't.
Like what happened the first time in May.
Yeah. Let's fast forward a little bit to the, I want to say it was the 75th minute.
Yes.
Julian Gressel comes in, or actually earlier than that, Christian Ramirez and Julian Gressel, 2 great depth pieces off the bench that cause havoc.
I believe they came in right around like the
65.
65th, okay.
Yep. 10 minutes later after they come in, they're causing havoc. Gressel services the ball in, misses Ramirez, misses Celentano. Great fall off of Alvis Powell's left foot and into the back of the net. Crew are now down 2-1. I'm still writing us off because there's a quarter of an hour left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, all right, at least it's not a shutout.
Yeah. But we've been there.
Yeah.
Right? 2022. Down in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Down 2-0.
Yep.
And what happens in the second half? Cucho got a score, right?
Yeah.
And who was the one to ice it?
Steven.
You know what I'm saying? So we've been there.
Yeah.
Right? And we've seen the resilience of this team, which Coach Nancy likes to talk about. He loves the resilience of when the team faces adversity, how they respond, how they react, right? So, You're down 2-1, 70. It was what, the 75th, 76th minute?
75.
Right around there.
Mm-hmm.
You get the own goal. Now you're back in it, right?
Yep.
Now it's just, let's go. And you see that. You see Columbus attacking. You see them, yes, they're taking risk. They're leaving that back, vulnerable.
Yep.
But now what they're doing is, and I remember hearing Taylor talk about it, what Columbus did different in the second half was when they brought Christian and Gressel in, they put more body in the boxes. More bodies in the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're forcing Cincinnati to defend.
Yeah.
Now, guess what? Now they're using energy. Now you're tiring them down because you're constantly attacking that box. And what happened?
10 minutes later, Gressel finds Ramirez. Again, Ramirez with a one-touch pass. I don't even know if that was considered a pass or anything like that. To Diego Rossi, who flicks it on for Cucho. It gets cleared right back to Rossi and a one-time shot into the back of the net. Now we're tied 2-2 with 5 minutes remaining in regulation in the 85th minute.
So what happened with that goal, right? It was Gressel got it to Ramirez. Ramirez got it to Cucho.
And he got it to Rossi.
So he got it to Rossi first.
Rossi flicked on to Cucho.
And as Rossi was flicking it to Cucho, there was a Cincinnati defender that kicked it, that got his foot in there.
And went right back to Rossi.
And it went to Rossi. And, I mean, at that point, you had to take it.
Mm-hmm. You just have to. You know the situation that you're in. 5 minutes left, down 2-1. What do you have to do? You can't take a touch because you're going to get dispossessed. You have to take the shot. Sure enough, took the shot. Now we're tied 2-2. And now we have the life in us.
It was so hard in that press box. It was so hard.
It was. It was. The inner fan in me kind of.
You stood up.
Yeah, well, yeah, I stood up, but I did stretch my back.
I know, but the way that you stretched it though was sort of.
I jumped. Let me stop and just stretch my back a little bit and play it off a little bit.
Well, notice I had started. I was tweeting, right at the kickoff, and then we got down, and I just shut my computer. Like, I don't want to touch Twitter right now.
Yeah.
So no. Hey, halftime, how you feeling? What needs to happen? None of that.
Yeah.
Right. And then for the whole second half, I just held the table. Right. I just held it there. Drinking, the Pepsi and eating the brownie bites. I'm just like, and I'm just staring. And then all of a sudden you see the own goal and I'm looking at you like,
what's going on here?
And then, and then I'm listening, right? You hear the Bailey go down.
Their energy just crashed.
And then you hear 300 crew fans, just... You hear them over 22,000,
Yeah.
24 or 25,000, 24,000 and some change. You hear 300 over them.
Yep.
And it's just like, are we at Nordeca right now? Or are we back at Lower? Or are we here in Cincinnati?
Mm-hmm.
With how loud the crew fans were, right? Second goal, and I'm just like, I'm stuck.
Yeah, I looked at you like, is this really happening right now?
And then it just is like, okay. And then what killed my, what made me so nervous, 8 minutes of stoppage. Was it 8 or 6?
It was 6.
6 minutes of stoppage. And it just is like, here we go.
Yep.
This is the game.
Because we crash at the end. We can't close out games. We've tried so hard all year long.
We have, but something has changed in the playoffs, right? We went 135 minutes against Orlando. That's all minutes included.
Including stoppage time to each half?
Including all the stoppage time plus 120 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was 135 minutes. In the Orlando Heat, in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad combination.
Yeah.
Right? So you're more conditioned. Now you know how to close out a game because you went 135 minutes the week prior, right?
Yep.
Boom. 6 minutes of stoppage time. You see Cincinnati was cramping up.
Yeah, they were starting early.
You know what I'm saying? You see them slowing down. Acosta was hurt, but did not want to come out the game. And I give him that.
Mm-hmm.
The MVP, okay, I'm hurt. Keep me in. Find a way around me to still utilize me. But, and that's one thing I could say that Nazi does better than Pat Noonan is tactics.
Yeah.
Is, okay, your star player's hurt, but he doesn't want to come off. So now let's shift it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shift this way. And just the conditioning, right? Had Barriel not been cramping as bad, he might have been able to make some plays.
He would have been more effective.
Yeah. Had Lucho not been cramping or, hurt.
But would have been more effective.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But
you already took Bupenza out and you put Abaji in.
Yep.
Why did you not go more to Abaji that had the fresh legs? And you brought Wobodo in, right? One of your best central midfielders.
Yep.
And you didn't want to go through him. So credit Nazi tactically right there at the stoppage time.
Mm-hmm.
And credit, so you said something on Twitter.
I say a lot of things on Twitter.
You said something about why no one's talking about Yevon.
Oh, that was in stoppage time. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, I was going to bring that up in a second. But stoppage time happens. First half, whatever. We dominate. Extra time. Ramirez, love the guy. Third goal. And just euphoria, as I like to call it. So,
what a send-off.
Yeah, it is. Other than that, I mean, the match explains for itself. I think we've watched it multiple times. So,
now we get the true battle of who's black and gold.
Correct. Coming up here on the Wisemen Say podcast, Mike Gray previewing LAFC with us for the MLS Cup final. This is the Wisemen Say podcast powered by Yamo Media. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to the Wisemen Say podcast, powered by Yamo Media. Ty Fisher alongside Jerald Lucas. My friend, we have gotten rid of Cincinnati. They are out of the picture. And now, as you said before the break, we now look forward to who the true black and gold is. And we have with us a very special guest, Mike Gray from LA. Mike, how are you?
I'm great. It's a typical day covering both teams. You had the Will Kuntz news coming out. He's been promoted to GM of the Galaxy. I'm appearing on this fine podcast for the first time. And then I'll be appearing on El Tráfico Radio with Alex Reese. And then finally, I will be booking a last-minute flight to Columbus, so that'll be fun. Spirit Airlines, another fine institution. Can't wait to load on to that one of those fine machines, and then just typical day out near LA. Thank you guys for inviting me, and let's talk some black and gold. Or
Yeah,
gold
definitely.
And black,
First of all, I want to say LAFC has just been an absolute fun team to watch all season. What makes them click under Steve Cherundolo?
It's interesting. Under Bob Bradley, it was just 100%, just high press, guns blazing, and they achieved a lot. They had that run in 2019 where they won the Supporter Shield, and then they basically blew it versus the Sounders. But they were very one-dimensional. And then you had Steven Cherundolo come into the scene, and then the team played much more practical, which, if I want to segue into, their playoff run, this team was under no illusions. They're playing very good soccer, but it's good playoff soccer. Let's see, they're unbeaten in 7. They're unbeaten in MLS this year when they've scored first 16 goals, or 16 wins, 3 draws, and they haven't allowed a goal in 367 minutes. So that's a hard team to beat.
Yeah, definitely. I think you summed it up right there, right? Was unbeaten in 16 straight when scoring first. I think it was. Go ahead.
Yeah, 19. They haven't lost this year. 16 wins, 3 draws. So yeah,
that's an amazing feat. What next up? Denny Bouanga. Why is he so important? I mean, we all know the answer, but why is he so important to LAFC?
Well, I mean, in the playoffs, he actually has 4 goals. There's been some talk about maybe LAFC being a little one-dimensional. The team goes as Denny goes. But I think it has to do with Steve Cherundolo's style of play that's got the team playing very pragmatic. For example, Seattle, everyone knew ahead of time that they pushed their fullbacks up, and therefore, if Bouanga was able to get the ball in the open field, he was going to cause damage. And then what do you know? He scores a game-winning goal. Houston managed to contain him, but that was the first time in, I think, he had a streak of 6 consecutive games scoring. And then, so, you managed to blank Bouanga. But again, this is a practical LAFC team. So what do? I almost call them, I like to call them a boa constrictor in a way, because when they're playing in peak form, they pull you in, they suck all the energy out of you, and then they ruthlessly finish you off. And we saw that. You had Hollingshead with the set piece, who, by the way, has got 3 goals of his own in the playoffs. LAFC's had a number of strong individual performers, and that goes back to what we're talking about, how, it's the playoffs. It's not about playing pretty, attractive soccer. It's about being pragmatic and getting results. And, Bouanga with the 4 goals. Ryan Hollingshead has got 3 goals. He had an absolute masterclass performance over the weekend. Maxime Crepeau, and this is where maybe we have common ground, because Crepeau has had at least 5 saves the past 3 matches. He's been completely clutch. But, man, I say that, and then I think about Schultz, and it's like he's been on a completely different level. I don't remember where we started the question, but yeah, LAFC are in peak form right now, and you can't score on them, and when they score first, as good as Columbus are playing, it's tough to pick who's going to win. It's 2 different styles, and what I really appreciate is that you have 2 teams that are brave in different ways. I mean, look at LAFC. They're playing at home. They have all these stars. They're supposed to put on a show for the LA crowd, and what do? They give Houston 70% possession, because they internally know that their back line's going to hold up, and they're confident. And then, they get the shutout. And then you have Columbus, who are brave because they play the prettiest, attractive soccer. And, that's from an outside perspective, I just love so much how Wilfred Nancy sticks to his guns. I mean, last season, Montreal is the same thing. He had that philosophy, and then they get whooped by New York City FC wasn't even the finals, it was the semis, right? And then the next season, down by a pair of goals in Columbus. Things aren't looking good. And what does he do? He sticks to his guns. He had played Farsi for 3 consecutive games, sticks Gressel in, but it wasn't a panic move. He waited until I believe 70th minute or somewhere around that time, but there wasn't this panic. He believed in his team, and despite being down a pair of goals, they make that comeback. So I mean, uh, like I said, you've got 2 different teams who are both just playing. They're just being brave. It's awesome. It's great to see, and it's going to be an amazing final.
So, former player, Rossi and Christian Ramirez, from former LAFC players. What have you seen their progression with? Rossi going, out of the country. Same thing with Christian, but now coming back. What have you seen that you saw maybe back with LAFC that you're starting to see come out here in Columbus?
Well, they were both quality strikers. I don't really think that in terms of progression. Yeah, like I said, it's interesting. LAFC have been very, very progressive. I still think that Wonga's so good, but I mean, if you look at Chicho Arango and how good he was for them last year, LAFC have a history of being very progressive in the transfer market, where they take these assets that are proven and they move them on. And you know, you can go back and forth about Chicho Arango and whether they missed his goals this year. They're in the MLS Cup Final, so they must be doing something right? And then it's the same thing with Ramirez. He was always a very quality striker. It was just a matter of the team being, I guess, ambitious, and you know, I guess they figured, hey, if he's not going to be a starter, let's just take this asset and get what we can for him. So to be honest, I'm not surprised that they both shown their quality in Columbus. I know maybe Rossi hasn't quite delivered as many goals as you would expect, but LAFC were in a very successful system, and I mean, obviously Columbus is good at what they do too, but it takes time. Rossi, even when they signed him, he had months with the team before their first inaugural season, and he was always a part of the team's plans versus coming in mid-season and just having to sort of figure things out. So I think if you're a Columbus fan, maybe you should be patient with him, and I would definitely be expecting more next season.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially with Rossi coming in right in the middle of the season, having to learn a whole new system, a different style of play, has definitely kind of backtracked him a little bit. But he has been able to produce. He actually got his 50th career MLS goal with us, which is a feat in its own. To even hit 50 goals is remarkable. What is the weakness that LA has that maybe Columbus can exploit against you guys?
Well, we've heard nothing but praise about Chiellini and how, his football IQ is off the charts and what an amazing human being he is. Wilfred said a lot of nice things about him as well, but he's old and he's 39. So there's been discussion about, maybe do you keep Matan in the starting lineup or do you put Ramirez in? And I got to tell you, stick to your guns, do exactly what it's gotten you there so far. And I think Matan can do a better job of maybe playing Chiellini out of position and maybe making things difficult for the back line. I got to tell you that comeback was amazing. If I look at the goals that Columbus scored, all 3 goals, they're pretty well worked strikes, but pretty well worked sequences. But those were all goals that a back line that's on their game are going to prevent, right? So for Columbus, I think if they play their style of play and they're efficient in the final third, I do think that they can score a few goals and come away with a victory. But part of what makes this LAFC team so difficult is they don't really have a lot of weaknesses. That front 3 is incredibly intelligent. They did a good job of versus Houston keeping the play in front of them. Ryan Hollingshead, he's a good dude, Man, but I tell you, he had so much swagger at the press conference on Saturday, and talking about how we're just going to give you the ball, do whatever you want, 70% possession. They created no dangerous chances. And, I think it was just so hyped that the game plan worked so well. And so, again, going back to they're unbeaten in MLS when they score first. And they've got this amazing run where they haven't conceded in 367 minutes. There's not a lot of holes you can punch in this team right now. Columbus's best hope is just going to have to be they have to do what they've been doing all year. Trust in Wilfried Nancy, trust in the game plan, and if they play their game, that's how they're going to win. I think if they try and adjust anything or try to come up with some sort of slick game plan, they're at home. They're gonna, Lower.com is going to be going nuts, and I think that this is really going to be their best shot to just play their way.
So you're saying that there's not too many weaknesses for them. Do you think that with how strong Columbus's midfield is, do you think that can play a little bit of factor for our front line to get past your guys' back line?
Correct. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Columbus is going to frustrate LAFC, and I think that the game's going to be played on Columbus's terms. It's going to come down to individual moments in the back line. Will they be able to hold up, or will the pressure of playing, on the road in the MLS Cup final, having a raucous crowd, is that going to affect them? Is that going to, are they going to be taken off? Are they going to be, what's the word for throwing off their game? But yeah, I believe LAFC have at least a goal in them, so it really is going to come down to Columbus. Again, it's going to be played on Columbus's terms. This game, it's going to be a matter of you know whether or not LAFC can hold things up in the back line, but they're going to have chances. And LAFC are a team that have so much quality that they can beat you with a strong backline, and also in transition, which everybody knows, obviously. So yeah, I mean, since when do you bet against Darlington Nagby? This team's the crew are gonna give LAFC everything they have, and that's the thing. I know that usually it gets down to prediction time. I don't know how you predict these two teams because Torrendolo said it best. The players are going to decide, when it comes to these playoff games. And man, there's so much. The storylines are kind of ridiculous. They really are. I mean, with the Rossi and Ramirez and the black and gold versus the gold and black, and it's gonna just on a personal level, guys. I'm gonna freeze my ass off. I'm from California. If you see some dude running around in like a velvet leopard coat on Saturday, just so you know, I'm not trying to be cool, but I just don't have a lot of winter garments. So sorry, guys.
Welcome to Columbus for you. Last question here. The 3252 is probably one of the most outrageous, in a good way, supporter groups in MLS. How important do you think with the Nordeca and with the 3252, how important is this atmosphere going to be on Saturday?
Oh, dude, it's gonna be rocking. I tell you what, the 3252. One of the things that make them such a good supporters group is that they're very coherent. There's no factions. It's one voice. And so when they go on the road, and when they go on the road in numbers, on Saturday, they're going to take over your stadium for a little bit. There's going to be moments, especially opening kickoff, where they're going to make I was about to curse, but they're going to make a lot of noise, right? And it's going to be cracking because the Columbus fans are going to respond, and then all of a sudden they're going to pick up the volume. I mean, trust me, I've been to a gazillion of Traficos. It's there's nothing like it. In fact, it's kind of funny because for many years I covered the Galaxy, and then there's this back and forth with the 3252, and then and then all of a sudden I'm the one who's saying how great they are, man. So life comes at you full circle. So You never know. Next time I talk to you guys, you might be one of you might be Cincinnati. Work for Cincinnati. I mean, that's how it is sometimes. It's the industry.
It definitely is. Mike, before you go, can we get a prediction from you? I know.
No one wants to hear from us, man.
I put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
All right, here we go. All right, 2-1 Crew. I'll cover my bases.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So if LAFC wins, I can just say that I was humoring you dudes. I don't know. I'll come up with something.
Mike, where can the people find you at on social media?
You can find me on social media at Mike Gray AFC on Twitter. I have an Instagram at, I don't know, Michael Ryan Williams Gray. It's a long name. But yeah, I'm heading to MLS Cup. I'll see you guys this weekend. Like I said, you already know what coat I'm going to wear. So I'll go ahead and I'll definitely be in the mood to party and hang out with everybody. I heard a lot of good things about Columbus. I already know where I'm going to be getting some German food. I'm going to be partying with some of the other media people. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to be relying on you guys to tell me where the party is. So keep your DMs open, and we'll see how it goes.
Mike, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Have a safe flight coming to Columbus, and we look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Thank you guys so much. I'm booking my Spirit airline trip right now.
Coming up here on the Wisemen Say podcast, me and Jerald give our final predictions of the match on Saturday. This is the Wisemen Say podcast powered by Yamo Media. We will be right back. I can never say that all in one. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Wisemen Say podcast powered by Yamo Media. Ty Fisher alongside Jerald Lucas. Mike's a great guy.
I'd catch them vibes, man. Velvet
leopard coat.
Jacket.
Oh man, that's peak LA.
That's
if that
rock
doesn't
star.
scream LA, that's peak LA right there. By the way, really quick, I just in on Twitter. The Nordeca, after much collaboration with the Nordeca, the Crew have significantly increased the amount of tickets available in tonight's Nordeca lottery. We appreciate their devotion to the fans, and we thank all of you for your patience as we work to ensure a massive atmosphere. So, if you missed the first lottery and you're into the second lottery, you have more tickets available. So, they are doing everything they can, and I credit the club for doing everything they can to make sure that Lower.com is the loudest stadium in MLS on Saturday.
Listen, we went from don't knowing if we're going to fill it up with Crew fans.
Yeah.
To now all that happened yesterday has been canceled and it's starting how it should be. I expect at least 22,000 or
I can definitely see that as you see right here on your screen. That the Nordeca lottery is tonight. It's going to be a rockin' atmosphere. You know, here's why. The Nordeca itself, because as you alluded to it a couple of shows ago, you can't get season tickets anymore in the Nordeca. But you have a lot of the OG Nordeca members that are going to be there on the capo stands, Nordeca brass, Nordeca drum corps, LaGuardia, all the OGs are going to be there. Mm-hmm. And they are what make the Nordeca.
One thing about it, too, is Tifo sweat.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm excited to see.
It's going all week.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's a fan of Columbus, you don't have to be a Nordeca member. You can come out and actually help paint the tifo.
Yep.
You would get it's fun because you'll be around the Nordeca. You're around crew fans, right? So you get to say when that tifo is lifted on Saturday, I had a hand in that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they have it's something special.
It has to be better than what we saw in Cincinnati.
Listen, I keep trying to pry for it, and I keep getting shut down. But
I just let the moment. Hey, what does Nancy say? Live in the moment.
Yep.
Live in the moment.
So I mean, the Nordeca is and like Mike, alluded to, it's gonna be rocking.
Yeah.
And the stadium only holds 21,000. I really think there's gonna be 22,000.
I can probably imagine they're probably putting in extra seats somewhere.
They're probably gonna be standing in the concourses.
Yeah.
Right there in the corners, like standing room only.
Yep.
The standing room only is already going to be filled up.
Yeah.
But you're going to be having people sitting there in the corners with their, dirty Franks or their Schmidt's cream puff and
the hot chicken takeover.
Or the hard hat nachos.
Yeah.
And the loaded hot chocolate. And just standing there watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be there's not going to be any seats. And I really think that MLS needs to stop doing, yes, you can run everything, but allow the home team to do the tickets. Because then you wouldn't have this animosity towards the club, towards ticket reps, towards, the league. It all would be evened out, right?
Yeah.
And you would have this fun banter back and forth between the two teams.
Two things from Frank Underwood before we get into predictions. Spirit Airlines are buying tickets from Ticketmaster. What's worse?
Riding on JetBlue.
All right.
My cousin is a pilot for Spirit, so.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. And then Frank goes on to say, will the cold weather have an effect on LAFC?
Yes.
Because they're used to the warm.
They're used to
California love, California breeze.
California weather, the Seattle, the Portlands, the Houstons. Maybe
Seattle's not warm. Seattle rains a lot.
No, but in the summertime it is warm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the weather that they're accustomed to. Same thing with the rain out there in LA. They're used to accustomed to the different humidity level with the rain, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have your Houston, your pre-courts. You have Colorado, which is the one. Colorado is the one, and same thing with Kansas City and St. Louis. But those three cities right there, I think, are different. One, because St. Louis and Kansas City being in the Midwest and getting hit with like the snow and, tornadoes and things like that. I mean, you got, earthquakes out there, but
yeah,
in LA. But Colorado, you don't know what it's going to be. It could be July and it's a blizzard. Didn't we see that earlier this year?
Yeah. Yep. Crew are favorites to win MLS Cup on Saturday. And for any betting fans out there, they are minus 150.
I don't like the odds.
I don't like the odds either. However, I'm just going by what MLS said.
I see why they're favored, because you're at home.
Yeah.
And, like Mike referred to, LAFC is unbeaten in 19, 16 wins and 3 draws, right?
Yep.
When they score first. Columbus only has 1 loss this year at home.
Yeah, they do, and it's against Inter Miami. So, Jerald, my friend, I think the time has come. We have a heavy week ahead of us with interviews and everything like that. But the next time that we talk, hopefully we'll be happy. Jerald, can we get a prediction for Saturday?
Can we? I mean, we can, but...
May I have a prediction for Saturday?
All right. So, going into this game, this is Columbus's fourth fourth cup, right?
Mm-hmm. Fourth cup appearance, third hosting.
All right, so fourth cup appearance. We've already won 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
They win here. That ties them with, I think, DC United.
No,
or not ties them, but they puts them up there with only like 3 teams
they have more than have more than 2. Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, with what Mike said, Columbus is going to play the game on their terms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna back the 2-1.
2-1 Columbus.
2-1, but it's 1-1 in regulation.
Oh, you're going extra time. You want to go another 120? Chaos, man. I love it.
I mean, why not?
I love the chaos.
Give me 2-1 Columbus.
It's definitely as the guys alluded to in Cincinnati, they can't wait to play back home. They feed off the energy. They're hoping that the sellout crowd pushes them to another star. On the flip side, you have a star in Denny Bouanga, Carlos Vela, Ilie Sanchez, Maxime Crepeau. A lot of the guys that were on their championship team winning team last year. They're looking to go back to back. Columbus, this will be, assuming that this is a sellout. This will be 17th consecutive sellout, 18th on the year. Massive feat. I back the 2-1, but I back it in penalty kicks.
So you're having LAFC go back to back in PKs in the MLS Cup.
Oh, no. Sorry. Columbus wins in penalty kicks. 1-1, but it's... I totally messed up there. 1-1 after regulation and extra time. Columbus wins in penalty kicks.
I can see it, but I don't think it's going to get to PKs.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't, because like he referred to, he alluded to Maxime Crepeau, right? He's just playing stellar in the playoffs, but he also said Schulte is playing lights out.
Yep.
Going up against a rookie, going up against a vet. I can't see shootout. I don't want to see a shootout.
Yeah.
Because then now it's who's got the better firepower, who's got the better keeper, right? I think, like I said, I backed the 2-1, but I really think it's in overtime.
So you 2-1 in extra time. I got 1-1 Columbus win on PKs. This is going to be a game for the ages. And I'm stoked for you, man. I'm stoked for you. You get to go to your first MLS Cup as a beat writer, and it's been such a complete 180 for you from last year to this year. So I'm happy for you, man.
I mean, I remember sitting there last year on, watching on TV the 2-1 loss to Orlando, and just like, I don't want to jump on this Zoom call.
Yeah.
I don't want to, because, if we would have won, we would have been in the playoffs. And it just was like,
what do I say?
Yeah, what do I say? How do I feel?
Mm-hmm.
And it just was like, it's like, okay. And then it was like the next day, it's, Caleb Porter's been let go. And it's like, okay, so now what do we do? And then you see the end of season roster cuts, and it's like, I'm losing Pedro, I'm losing Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're losing like hearts of the team. You're losing, the comedy of the team that keeps the morale up. And it's just like, okay, what's going on? And then, you get that, hey, we're going to be introducing the new head coach. And, you're hearing rumors of who it's going to be. Then you hear, okay, it's down to this. And then it's, okay, well, we're hiring Wilfried Nancy. And it's just like, second in MLS Coach of the Year, voting. took Montreal, a little bit of distance last year, right?
Yep, semifinals.
And it's like
Conference semi, sorry.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay. He's got a great style.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, so, you're thinking, okay, you got Lucas and Cucho gonna have a full season together, right? And then, you got Milos, you got, everybody's gonna be healthy. And then it's, all right, well, Jonah's gone now, and it's just like, what's gonna happen now? And then you just see from the start of the season till now, and it's just like, I said it. I can't remember when. I've been saying it all season that this team has what it takes to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're starting to come on. I think it was right before Lucas, left.
Yeah.
It was one of those, is the team's starting to come on. They're starting to buy into Nancy's system. And then Lucas left. And it just was like, all right, so maybe next year. Then you see the chess pieces come out.
Yep.
Rossi, Yevon, Gressel, you know what I'm saying, and Camacho. And I think that was the final piece that snapped Nancy's. Everybody got Nancy's system, right? So now we're here in the playoffs. And I think you saw it, but I was crying on Saturday.
I did not see that, no.
I was crying at the car.
I did not see that.
Because it's just like, I'm tearing up now, but
it's a surreal moment.
It really is.
Surreal moment. Last thing before we sign off, Armando Villarreal, MLS Cup referee. Cameron Blanchard, Ian McKay will be the assistants. John Freeman will be the fourth. VAR, Kevin Stott, AVAR, TJ Zablocki, and the reserve AR, Jeremy Kiso. So that is the MLS Cup crew.
Good crew.
For Saturday. Armando Villarreal is solid.
Yeah.
No
Boyko.
Man, I wanted Sergio Boyko. I wanted chaos.
That one should have been for Hell is Real, but
it is what it is. I'm ready for the week. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to conquer the week ahead of us. We have interviews tomorrow, Thursday, Mixer Friday, media game on Friday also.
There's a Mixer on Thursday.
Yeah.
At Parlay.
Oh, yeah, yep. That's Friday. No, it's Thursday. Yeah. It's Thursday. Ready for the weekend?
I am. I actually told I said I'd play in the media game.
Still waiting on details for that, but it's going to be an absolute fun. We hope you guys are there on Saturday also, full voice, decked out in your black and gold gear. Final thoughts really quick.
Just to play on what, Mike said, Columbus is playing beautiful soccer. And that's why Tom said that Columbus is the most exciting team to watch. So look out for Nazi ball. That's all I'm saying. I mean, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing all season, right?
Yeah.
And look what the results got them.
Ty Fisher alongside Jerald Lucas. This has been the Wisemen Say podcast powered by Yamo Media. I want to thank our amazing producer, Adam Dell, for doing this with us tonight. Jerald, my friend, as tradition goes, Wisemen Say.
Only fools rush in.
Ty Fisher alongside Jerald Lucas. This has been the Wisemen Say podcast. We will catch you guys next week.
Stay wise, y'all.